Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on one volume each episode. We keep the discussion spoiler-free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering Volume 49, Nightmare Luffy, which covers chapters 471 through 481. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host, and joining me today we have Evan.
What up?
And we have Cody.
Hello.
Yeah, so we are continuing through our bark. There was some fun stuff and less fun stuff that happened last volume. So just to get us started, I'm going to go over a quick recap from last volume. Previously on One Piece. The Straw Hats split up to divide and conquer the enemies on Through a Bark to try to get their shadows back. Oars began exploring the island and caused chaos. Luffy confronted Moria, but was not making any progress as he wasn't able to get past his shadows before the Warlord ran away. Sanji faced Absalom in the chapel and objected to his wedding with Nami, while also revealing it's always been Sanji's dream to be a massive creep, but using the powers of the Clear fruit to save people. Unfortunately, even though Absalom lost the fight, he turned Nami and himself invisible and took off. Usopp's negativity was turned into a positive, as he was unaffected by Perenna's devil fruit and won the battle. Brook was unable to defeat the samurai Ryuma, but Zoro was. He bested the samurai and got not only Brook's shadow back, but also gained an impressive new sword, Shusui. Robin and Chopper teamed up against Hogback while possibly restoring a bit of humanity to the zombie Sindri in the process. Oars crashed through the tower, crushing Hogback, while Sindri enjoyed a few moments of freedom. Moria gave Oars the Straw Hats wanted posters, commanded him to defeat all of them. Oars was able to find most of them, and began fulfilling his mission as the Straw Hats seemed to be unable to take on the giant. All right. So Cody, you weren't on the last episode, unfortunately.
Sadly,
but
it was not
yeah, but I did want to at least get some of your thoughts on some of the content from the last volume.
Okay, it's been a second since I read so long ago. I mean, I'm sure that there's not much I can say that hasn't already been said about Sanji. I think I heard Sean called it the start of the worst character assassination in fiction history or something like that.
Yep.
I think I can't put it any better than that. I think up until this point, up until volume before, Sanji had been my favorite character in the series. Yeah. Brook was like starting to usurp him, but this definitely was a downward trend. Because so far Sanji has always been lovesick, chivalrous, passionate, sometimes hot-tempered, easily distracted, but very smart. It was always a very nice balance of all these things that I love and all these flaws that are very understandable and human. But as soon as you get into peeping and lack of consent, then it's like, I just don't look at you the same, sadly. I don't think it's something that can't be recovered from if it's handled in the right way and there's growth. But from this point, I will always be waiting for that growth from Sanji. I'll still be able to appreciate the W's he gets. I think there are a couple times I mentioned Sanji W in this volume summary. It's just sometimes you have that phrase like you don't look at them the same after something happens. However, the Usopp Perona fight.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good.
So good. And I had more detailed notes when I thought I'd be on the episode, but it just speaks so well. I think the whole volume speaks so well to the continuation of Usopp's arc after Water 7. We see him being there to protect Nami and Chopper, being the one who's trying to make decisions, but not at the expense of anyone else and not disrespecting anyone else like he tried to in Water 7 when we had the whole ship conflict. And then going back to what Sanji said in Enies Lobby, I'll do what you can't do, you do what I can't do. Usopp is the only one that can beat Perona. in the best way. And like when I was in
Okay.
7th grade, and I read the translation being, you can't stop me. I'm already depressed. As an emo kid, it really hit my heart. But it's also just such a funny fight. The Usopp Perona dynamics are great. I'm much more fascinated with Perona now than I was before.
Yeah.
And then just everything with Oars, which we see more of now, but everything with that is just so hilarious and so fun and such a great addition to an already tonally insane, in the best way, arc.
Nice.
Well played.
Thanks, Francis. I'm excited to hear your thoughts once the episode's out.
All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, I wish we could have a more fleshed out discussion, but I at least want to get some quick thoughts for you. But for right now, let's move on to the first chapter of the volume, chapter 471, My Friend. After defeating most of the Straw Hats, Ora set his sights on the remaining members. Perona regained consciousness and decides to loot the Straw Hats ship and abandon Throw a Bark upon learning Oars is destroying the ship. Nami also regains consciousness and avoids Absalom's kiss with Lola's help. The Straw Hats also regain consciousness and get back up to fight Oars.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people coming back to the waking world.
Mm-hmm. We come back to the volume discussions. They come back to the fight. It all comes together. So Lami's just fine now. So Big Abs is just, I'm good. Loser.
No.
Yeah, so what do you guys want to start on this one?
Let's start with Lola.
Okay.
I love Lola. And she deserves better than Absalom. She
Yeah.
deserves so much better.
For sure, especially after this volume.
Yeah.
The lack of respect.
Yep. Cringy character. Lola can do better.
Yeah.
Then we get to see Nami stand up for herself, and she is becoming a solid fighter.
Yeah.
This new climate baton is kicking some ass, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it helps when she is actually awake to be able to defend herself.
I know, right? What a creep.
Creep.
I did think it was funny though when she wakes up and Absalom's coming in for the kiss, and she's like able to like recoil, and then he's trying to kiss her, and she's like moving her head around.
Yep.
And Lola comes in for the assist, which is great because Lola comes in and pretends to be mad at Nami, but is actually here to save Nami. So she's kind of putting on a show and being like, "Hey, run!" Even though she's like, "You backstabber! How dare you take Absalom from me?" But yeah, she's here to actually help Nami, but she's making Absalom think that she's not in on it. So yeah, I think there's some great interactions here with Nami and Lola.
I had honestly totally forgotten about this little deception of theirs, and so I'm reading this like, why is the Namizo thing still a joke? I'm sick of it. And then we get to the panel where Nami says, "I was so scared. I lied to you. I'm really a woman." It was just, you dummy. I already knew. And that makes my heart just
It's
soar.
so sweet.
So
sweet. Oh,
Yeah.
I just love little friendships like that develop in this story. It's always the most wholesome.
Yeah, and I love that Nami makes the conscious decision to admit the truth. She's like, "I'm sorry, I lied to you." So like, she's actually being like, I want to be a good friend to you." Like, she's actually valuing the friendship, not just like, "Oh, I'm just trying to like save myself." It's more like I lied to you. I'm sorry, but I was scared. So like,
That's a great
Lola's
point.
like, thanks for telling me the truth, but I already knew. Like, we're all good. So yeah, it's nice interaction there.
nice moment.
I also kind of like that. So again, never looking at Sanji the same again, but I do find it kind of nice that Sanji was, kind of nice. It's nice he was able to facilitate Nami getting the finishing blow in, even though it wasn't intentional. In a perfect universe, Nami would have had the whole fight to herself, and we wouldn't be in any of this mess. But I guess I don't know. I think earlier today, before I had my coffee, I was thinking, is this like him indirectly like being supportive in chivalrous or blah, blah, but now I'm just like, I don't know. I think I was probably just overthinking that. I don't. But it's cool that Nami gets to have the final blow at the very least. It's a nice consolation prize, I'll say.
Yeah, and also like the way that it's played out, it's for Lola, which just kind of like goes more towards like justifying it. So it's also for her too, because Absalom was being like super creepy to her. But she's concerned for Lola. She's like, "How dare you do that?" And she looks really cool actually when she's getting like the thunder charge going with the wedding dress, and she goes in and she like looks super mad, and she comes in with the charge and zaps him, and she's like, "Yeah, I won."
I also love Perona.
Oh no, go ahead.
Very satisfying. I was gonna say I also just love Perona at the very beginning of the chapter. The fact that she is scared of Usopp.
Yep.
The pure irony of that. Perfect. Perfect. She's even fleeing like Usopp. She is Usopp in his worst moments. This is amazing.
So yeah, I can't stand this island disease, and she has to leave right away.
100%.
Yeah, she was very quick to be like, "Let's take the treasure and go."
Hey, but she had an escape plan. She's like, "All right, we're starting over."
Yeah.
Also, at the very, very beginning of the chapter, so Oars is looking for the last three, which is Luffy, Nami, and then the cool-looking hero. But if you look at the bottom, you can see Usopp is knocked out, so he doesn't realize Usopp is Sniper King.
I love it.
It's perfect.
I also just still love they're on his wrist like he's checking his watch.
Yep.
He has to keep it there because otherwise he might lose the posters.
Or he does have Luffy shadow.
Recognize them, yeah.
This tracks.
Also a great final page. The album cover. The crew rising.
There it is.
Yeah. So good.
So cold.
Yeah, so the crew is recovering after pretty much being like defeated. Now they're kind of getting their second wind. Like, all right, we're back up. We're ready to fight.
Yep. It's go time.
Yep. And even the page before where they're trying to get his names right. Hughes.
Oh yeah.
You're so far now, not even close, Howie. Oh, and then also the very while Perona's debating running away, and Oars pokes punches through the wall. Perfect comedic timing. It's just the fact that the one horse zombie's like, "Brother!" I don't know why, that just got me so good. Cackling in my apartment. Cackling.
Yeah, Pearl's like, all right, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this anymore. I don't get paid enough for this. Yeah. You guys got anything else for this one?
Good.
Okay. Let's move on. So, Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 36, the Moon City Bilka. They fled to the Blue Planet in search of resources. Enru learns that the Moon people left the Mooninites behind as they descended to the Blue Planet.
This is big lore.
This supports the Shandian lore we were talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys took a look at the mural, but it looks like from the moon, the angel people with the wings. It looks like they have like balloons. Maybe like they floated down. It looks like they maybe landed on clouds. And then you can see off to the right side, you can see it looks like the blue sea. or it could be like the white sea. But yeah, we can see like some like sea creatures. So I'm guessing that's probably like the blue sea. So it looks like they probably descended to the clouds. So possibly maybe some of them further descended to like the actual like blue sea. Maybe that's where the Shandians came from. Was like maybe they met some of these people from like the moon, but some of them stayed up in what became Skypiea. And I don't know if you guys remember where Enru came from.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So Cody, you want to take this?
He is from well, in this translation, it's Bilka. Bilka. the sky island that I believe that Eneru actually destroyed, didn't he?
He destroyed it. Yep.
Yeah. So this is gives a little more weight to him trying to go to the moon. Whether he knew or did not know, that's still very unclear. But it's sort of this could be the king coming back to his homeland.
Yeah, there's a very strong possibility that he descended from the people who had come from the moon and landed in Skypiea, and they created Bilka and Skypiea. So I actually didn't catch this until this read through.
Same.
But yeah, so that's like to me that's like super exciting.
So cool.
Yeah.
The prodigal son returns.
So I'm thinking that Enru probably destroyed his wings and implanted the like the taiko drums into his back because he doesn't have the wings anymore. But like where the wings would have been, like he has like the ring coming out. But the rest of the people around in Skypiea have wings. So yeah, I think he probably removed them himself.
100% agree. Yep.
Very cool.
So I think it's very fascinating what this means, but we don't really get the full picture. But I think this gives us some nice like clues, and maybe we'll get more answers in the future.
Yeah,
I sure hope so.
This has been a good cover story.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most interesting for sure because it's like,
well, like with Buggy.
He's going to the moon, like,
yeah,
did not expect that, right? And again, like these like robot people up here, and like some kind of like ancient like city, and like they like descend to like the planet, like yeah. So there's like crazy stuff like behind the scenes here.
Yeah, I like how we've been getting like the depictions too to slowly kind of solve the puzzle.
Yeah, because a lot of it isn't like overtly stated here. Like I said, like Cody and I, like we just are kind of noticing this the first time. But like there's more here, like in the pictures than you might initially think, just kind of going through it.
Absolutely. Yeah, without you guys, I would not have pieced it together as much as I have.
Without y'all here, I would be rereading it and then piecing it together.
Yep. But this is exactly what I mean, though. It's like when you go through the series multiple times, like you'll start to pick up more details that you wouldn't have noticed the first time. So there's like more value that you get out of the series. So it's there's always like stuff to enjoy multiple times.
So remind me, how many rereads have you done of One Piece?
This is my third read through, and I watched like the first few hundred episodes a few times, but I haven't actually caught up fully on the anime yet.
Nice.
But this won't be my last time.
Oh God, no, never. Oh, I'm going back to the start as soon as we catch up.
Yeah. And also, in the SBS, one of the readers pointed out that Robin started using the names of her friends. So we were talking about before how like she kept calling people like like navigator, like swordsman, along those. So like she wasn't actually like being very personal with the crew. But yeah, now she's starting to become a little bit more personal after the events of Annie's Lobby. So I think that shows a lot of character growth, and she's more attached to these people than ever before.
So nice.
So good.
I'm so happy for her.
We love to see it.
Okay. So moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 472, Down. The Strats get a second wind and try to get creative with their ways to take down Oars, including forming the giant robot warrior, Big Emperor. Except Robin, who's not on board, so that plan falls apart. Together, they're able to flip Oars over and get his horn stuck in the ground. Lilith fills Nami in on what's going on with Luffy's zombie and points her in the direction of the treasure room. Unfortunately, she's too late as Perna had already emptied the room. As Perna's underlings haul the loot onto the Thousand Sunny, they find Warlord Kuma has appeared.
Who? Who to what now?
All right, so I think we should start with the most lore intensive part of the chapter, which is when they form the big emperor.
Yes.
Amazing. I stared at this panel for like 10 minutes, I think. It's so good. So good.
So sick.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, just like the different like looks on people's face, like Sanji and Zoro are clearly like they're just kind of going on with it, but they're like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid.
But they're down.
Then-
they're down for it.
They're down.
They're like, all right, fine. And then like Chopper's like commanding. He's so into it. And then like Usopp's like he's on board. He's like, let's go. And then like Chopper's so concerned the left arm isn't docked yet.
I love
And then-
everything about this.
Robin has like the best reaction ever. She's like, I find it embarrassing as a human being.
If only she gave them some wings, that would have been
Oh wow.
right.
Yeah.
That would have been the least embarrassing, but very cool option.
I mean, I will say Robin
Also-
is. Oh no, you go. You go.
No, I was just gonna say. Also,
Your
this
turn.
is not Usopp's first time being a sword.
Yep.
Oh, true.
It's not first time being a human sword.
Yeah, he's like,
So he
I've already
has
done this before. Like,
practiced.
I'm trained for this. Let's go.
Oh, amazing.
But it looks like he's more like a claw, because like the way he's like kind of making like a C shape with his hands.
Oh,
like, he's meant to
yes.
be like a claw.
Yes, you are correct. It is a claw.
But like I think that's intentional. He's like trying to make like a claw shape. I'm like, I'm the hand too. So
Gets really nice.
Yeah, you can see that in the silhouette.
yeah.
Oh my god. This is so good.
It's so cool. And Robin is probably my second favorite character in the entire series as of where I am currently. But I'll never forgive her for depriving us of the strongest transformation and attack in what will be the story. Like, everybody gets one, that is her one. The only sin that she's ever committed in my book.
Right,
Otherwise,
like,
perfect.
Well, to me, she makes up for it with her reaction, and like the next page,
Yeah.
she's also like, "Don't you ever ask to dock with me again?" Like she takes it so personal. Like she's like so personally offended that they even asked her to do this.
Yeah.
They're like, "Robin, you let us down. You betrayed us."
Yeah, I can't stay mad at her.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, like Sanji and Zoro also look embarrassed, but they are troopers and just doing it.
Yeah, they're kind of like, why do we even bother doing that? That was so stupid. But like, they tried.
I mean, Sanji also kind of has look like I was kind of stupid. Like, I also look kind of cool.
Yeah, he's also like kind of seriously taking it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that for him.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to admit
like,
that he
what?
likes it.
Or is this pissed that she's not even doing it? Silly,
It's so funny.
silly giant man. I love the shading on oars at the very beginning of the chapter. I love when Oda goes
Yes.
into detail with it like that.
Yeah,
Contrast
first
when I pay
page
attention
is-
to it.
Yeah, 'cause
It
it's
is.
so ominous looking.
Yeah, it's so good. It's a great angle. And like you said, great shading.
And then each of the Straw Hats' lines on the next page are just so them, and for a lot of them, such a great reflection of their place on the crew and their relationship with Luffy specifically.
Yes, I love when Oda does this. Like you get like a headshot of each character and like either a little phrase or a facial expression that is just so them. Like I love those little moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect example of one.
I am so scared.
And he's got the doom behind him.
Like literally, Zoro knows Luffy so well. He's the one bringing up that oars can move like him. Robin has finally put her faith in someone fully after being so transient for her own safety. So of course she wants Luffy specifically to be the Power King.
Yeah.
That's how Frankie works. Chopper is a doctor. I think it's mainly Zoro's and Robin's that speak to the relationship with Luffy specifically, but it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And Big Emperor may not have worked successfully, but it is the beginning of a series of combos that is some of the greatest fights in like we've seen so far. Like,
Yes.
I'm so
Yep.
excited for what's to come.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to see the crew being able to fight an opponent all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they haven't fought something like this big before. And it's taking like all of them working together to take on Oars.
I'll probably get more into my greater thoughts on this as we get further into it, but that in itself is my favorite thing about this volume. That is what makes this volume so great for me.
100% agree. We got to see a little bit of it in the last volume with the Rob Cho suplex?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, if there's more of this to come, I am hyped.
Yeah, I mean, there is more like
I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed.
We also get Zoro calling Robin by name, working alongside her.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm sure if he had called her by name before, but just especially after that SBS question, it feels so relevant.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's also being a really good first mate. He's directing. He's taking care of everyone. He is communicating. He's showing his position.
Yep.
Good stuff. Yeah, we get some good teamwork here. It's also funny when Frankie and Chopper are like building the skywalk, like building like stairs in midair, and before it falls down, they do the super frapper gong. So another like little combo move here.
Yep. Love the combo attacks. Just also some really dynamic fight scenes in here, like the drawings. Oars getting toppled and like taking it down the bridge, and all these combo moves look so good.
Yeah. And then Nami also being very much in character, being like, well, after all this, I at least want to get the treasure. So she goes to the treasure room and finds it's already been looted. Perna beat her to the punch. But Perna's loading up the treasure onto the Thousand Sunny with the intention of taking their ship. So
and then a bear appears.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty surprising end to this chapter.
Yeah.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense or challenging, this happens.
So not looking too great. There's now 2 warlords to worry about here.
Yep.
Do you guys have any final thoughts for the chapter?
No.
Okay, then let's move on to the next part of the cover story. Enru's Great Space Mission, Volume 37. Turn around and see the loyal servants in endless farce. The Moon Knights have gathered around Enru and are eager to serve him.
Oh, he's making friends.
Yeah, after he's attacked everybody, we weren't really expecting them, like, for him to, work with them. But it seems like they're like, hey, maybe they might be like programmed or designed to help, like the people from Bilka. So maybe they're like, hey, you're one of the Bilkin people, so we're here to help you.
Checks out.
It's like, wait. Y'all are working under me, and you smiling? You guys like me?
It's like, I attacked you before, right? But he also did stop the space pirates and helped avenge their... I'm actually wondering if Dr. Tsukimi was their creator or if he just fixed them up after finding them.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's a good point. Because it seems like their origin goes back much further.
Yeah, Joe, you're cooking.
But whoever he was to them, he at least worked on them to some degree. And Enru was able to get revenge, whether or not he knew he was doing it for them. Okay, but let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 473, Warlord Bartholomew Kuma appears. Nami races back to the ship to secure the Sunny and the treasure. With Oars unable to defend himself, the Strats gang up on him. Oris gets up and fights back. Usopp says that they should wait for Luffy to defeat Moria, but Zoro wants to test Shisui, and Sanji won't back down either. Nami catches up to the Sunny and sees Perona, telling her to back off the treasure. Before they begin to fight, Kuma intervenes. Perona recognizes the Warlord, who asks if she works for Moria. She announces not anymore and prepares to fight, but it ends quickly as Perona vanishes into thin air. He turns his attention to Nami and asks if it's true that Luffy has a brother, but doesn't explain why he wants to know, and he moves on. Luffy finds himself in the middle of the forest where he finally caught Moria's shadow as dawn approaches.
Where to start?
This chapter was comedy gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where I want to start.
Okay.
Want Nami's eyes bugging out as she sees Oars. It was like, nope, I didn't see that. I'm out.
Yeah. I noted that panel as well because I also thought that was like hilarious. Just like you said, like her eyes like bugging out. She doesn't say anything. She does like a little shiver. And she's like, "Oh, I don't see anything. Just moving on." Like, she's like, "It's not there. It's not real." Yeah, that was like pitch perfect. Like Oda has such like perfect like physical comedy. Usually it's like Usopp who has like a lot of the physical comedy type stuff, but he's just like overall like really solid at that portrayal.
I feel like after like Water 7 and Enies Lobby were so heavy. Now, granted, they weren't without comedy. I feel like Oda was like, let me be insane. Let me be silly for like 50 chapters or so. And he ate. He really went for it. Yeah. Like you said, Joel, everyone is getting a chance to be just bat shit bonkers, and it's wonderful.
I mean, we saw with like Perona in the last volume too, with like the angry shocked face.
It's classic.
So good. Even the panel right before Nami's bug eyes, she's commenting on how well made that bridge is, which Frankie
nice work
built like makeshift in the heat of the moment perfectly.
Yeah, because like last time he was like, "Oh man, I wish I could make some adjustments to it. I'm not happy with it."
Yeah,
but he's like trying to be like a perfectionist about it.
Frankie, my guy. Oh.
And also on the following set of pages, we see like the reactions from the Straw Hats when they realize that Oris is stuck in the ground, and they all have like this like sinister look on them with like the shadows.
I love
Tag
that.
yourself, I'm Frankie. Stuck already. Oh my god, demonic.
Some good stuff.
Zoro licking the sword.
Yeah, love it.
It's good for them. Good for them.
And again, sorry, I know I had a lot to say here, but I also wanted to point out, just on the same theme of like the physical comedy stuff, like the following page after that, like the way that the Straw Hats are all running away after like Oris gets out. They have like this like very like angry looking like looking at all of them. Like Zoro's like the most prominent, but you can see like all of them have like the same kind of 90-degree like bend in the arms and legs.
And Zoro's face in particular too. Like
he's like so serious.
They all have that facial expression.
It's like, nope. I really hope they get to this in the live action because I want them to do this shot in the live action. That would be so silly. So silly. We'll see. I mean, it's a tall ask, but I just want this shot. Doesn't even have to be yours. I just want this. And then Usopp tricking Oars with meat. A++.
Yeah, he's had some practice with tricking Luffy. So he's got those tactics.
And then we get into this next page where they get Oars on his knees, and the question comes up of, okay, do we, as Zoro wants to, do we try and like actually beat him ourselves and finish him off, or are we just buying time so Luffy can beat Moria and get the shadows out of there? Zoro's just all in for, he wants the smoke. And Sanji's with him. He's not going to wait around for Luffy. Frankie, he's also the newest to the crew, but he's like, wait, no, we don't need to do this. And you can see how Usopp's also back a bit scared, and Robin's a bit neutral to it. But to me, this just, it brings up a difference between Zoro and Sanji and the rest of the crew in their relation to Luffy. And I might not have the right words for this because I read the volume today and I haven't had a chance to really let it marinate. But everyone else in the crew facilitates Luffy. They allow him to do what he needs to do. Because they know he has their best interest in mind, and they have his best interest in mind. But they accept Luffy's going to be the one to save us. Luffy's going to be the one to get this done. But Zoro and Sanji, they will actively help Luffy. They will actively ease the burden that he has as the captain, and they will risk themselves in order to do so. Which feels just like a huge theme of this fight and this crew dynamic as we get deeper and deeper into the Oars battle.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
mean,
rants,
there's
but yeah.
yeah, there's like different ways you can approach it. So there's times like just put your faith in Luffy. There are times where it's like they need to help themselves so Luffy could do his thing. We'll get more into Zoro's motivations for fighting in this volume, but it's very much in character for Zoro to want to be able to be capable of winning these fights himself. He doesn't want to have to rely on his captain to win his battles for him. He wants to be capable of winning these fights himself. But we'll get more information from Zoro later.
That's also a really good point, though.
And I think Sanji is also kind of like, well, if Zoro's going to fight, I'm not going to let him like show me up. So I'm also going to fight. Like I'm just capable. But like I could see Sanji also being like, all right, well, we can tactically retreat or stay and fight. Like Sanji is one of those people that will stay and fight. But I think Zoro saying to fight is also a motivating factor for him too.
But I think the fact that Sanji is one of the more tactical characters on the crew. Not necessarily the most, but like the fact that he still has that. We could retreat, but no, we're gonna do this. I think that says a lot for him.
Yeah, because a lot of times his role does end up being tactical. He's usually doing something like behind the scenes that is going to help them. And then for the rest of the volume, the rest of the chapter, we have the scene where they're at the Thousand Sunny. So Nami and Perona begin to face off. Then Kuma shows up, and like he's really big and very intimidating. Yeah. So what do you guys think of this interaction here,
Evan?
Yeah, this guy emanates power, and is a very intimidating character to have suddenly appear in an already very turbulent situation where the Straw Hats are struggling. And then we see Kuma use his ability to poof somebody. Someone just got straight up poofed, which I think this is our first time seeing that happen, right? First time that he's made someone just disappear.
Yeah, I think the only other time we've seen him is we've always seen him in Marie-Joie after like during Jaya. He steps off a boat, walks up with Don Quixote del Flamingo to the meeting room, and that's it. That's all we have for this guy so far.
Yeah. So that's terrifying. Seems to have to do with he puts gloves on after the fact, so it seems to have something to do with him touching somebody, or probably some sort of devil fruit ability. But I have a theory, but
okay,
we'll see. We will see.
Okay. We One Piece fans, we do love our theories.
Well, I just have a prediction on what his devil fruit ability is.
Did you plan to share with us, or do you want to wait later?
Fine, I don't know. I don't want to.
I've been so hungry for Evan theories. I'm so excited for Evan theories.
I think that Kuma is able to teleport people by touching them. He can teleport them to wherever he wants to teleport them. That's my guess.
Okay.
Could be right. Could not be right. That's what I think. Because it was Perona that got poofed, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she was like, "Oh, I could take this guy," and everybody's cheering her on, and then he just touches her, and then she vanishes. She's just
Yeah,
gone.
I don't think she is dead. I think she has been teleported to wherever Kuma decided to teleport her. There is a phrase that is said later that I think helped with me come to that prediction,
Okay.
which we'll get to.
Okay. Very cool theory.
Thanks.
Yeah, so for right now, we don't really get too much more information about that. But one thing I also do want to note is that when Perona sees Kuma, she calls him the tyrant.
Mm.
So he has some kind of reputation, and she says the atrocities he committed as a pirate are beyond the pale. So he seems to have a reputation.
Not a good one.
And he asks about Luffy and his brother. So he says, "Is it true that Monkey D. Luffy has an older brother?" And Nami says, "Yeah, he does. You talk about Ace, right? What about it?" He's like, yeah, cool, thanks," and just kind of like moves on.
Man on a mission. And we also see Luffy get stranded. Classic. Right in the heat of the battle, Luffy is either incapacitated or nowhere to be found.
So he's found this wild goose chase. He was chasing after Moria. Not realizing he was chasing his shadow into the forest. So like Moria's shadow is just like leading him like as far away from the real Moria as possible.
Classic.
I think the last time we saw him, he was like chasing Moria down the hallway when Aura's like crashed through like the building, and he was just chasing Moria down the hall. But yeah, dawn's approaching, so time's running out.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I forgot to mention we get a fun little tidbit about Shusui that this blade in particular, the black blade, has a special characteristic of being exceptionally hard, and he mentions that it's heavy. So our Lord.
Very cool. All right, you guys are good to move on?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the last part of this cover story. Eneru's Great Space Mission Final Volume. Full power. The Eneru army stands tall. Power has been restored to Bilka, and Eneru's army is ready.
I like that this says stands tall, and they're all like a bunch of tiny little.
Short Kings unite!
Well, they're tall in character.
Yes.
Yeah. The personalities are 8'5". Also, wait, the SBS right before this too. I don't want to fully distract from cover story.
No,
but
go for it.
This was a big one. The fact that all the way back in Volume 3, Oda specifically said to the editors, "Hey, don't call this guy Captain."
Oh.
Because their captain is Gold Roger.
Yeah. That's
don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. I just it's what I love so much about him. He has a plan. And he just improvs his way.
Yeah, so this guy seems to be the first mate according to the SBS. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that it was clear that this guy's in the captain of the same crew that Buggy and Shanks were on, because we found out later that he was on Gold Roger's crew. So, little details, which is always nice to point out.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, for the SBS, I don't really have too much more to say. Looks like they're just kind of ready to do their thing, whatever that is. All right, so let's move on to the chapter. Chapter 474, We Have to Do It. Moria's shadow flies away, leaving Luffy in the forest. Zoro's able to test out his new sword, but is finding he needs more practice. Zoro's determined to defeat Oars and doesn't want to rely on Luffy to save the day, in case he got outsmarted. Zoro decides he can at least try to save Luffy's shadow, even if it means not getting Sanji's and his own back. The sky begins to clear of the fog as they realize Oars must have inadvertently steered them out of the Florian Triangle. Kuma speaks with Moria and reports that Marshal D. Teach has been named Crocodile's successor as the new Warlord of the sea. He also warns that the world government is concerned that Luffy will defeat another Warlord. Offended, Moria says he doesn't need help. He appears in Oars' stomach and decides to directly assist in taking out the Straw Hats. Zoro tells Usopp to go to the kitchen to gather all the salt, but Brook is a step ahead and arrives with a huge bag full. All right, so Evan, how about we start with you on this one, because we started out towards the beginning of the chapter with some more Zoro stuff.
Yes, I love Zoro bonding with Sushui, and we get to see it in action, which is awesome. And it seems that his abilities have changed slightly due to his new sword combination, which I think is cool. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, he's still trying to like get used to the new sword and trying to fine tune his abilities, but it does seem like he's got a pretty big upgrade here.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. And then we get the reveal of the Warlords meeting.
Well, before we get into that,
Okay.
I just want to circle back to again, we were just talking about Zoro's motivations for wanting to fight, and we get more details as to like why it's important for them to fight Oars here. So Zoro figures the least they can do is if Luffy did get outsmarted and he's not able to get their shadows back and defeat Moria, the least they can do is at least try to get Luffy's shadow back. So even if it means not getting all their shadows back, at least they can get their captains back. So Zoro's thinking of his captain first and foremost. And yeah, if they can at least get Luffy's shadow back, then they can save the crew. Because without Luffy, there's not really a crew anymore. So they need to make sure the crew stays together, and Luffy is crucial to that. So Zoro is kind of making a sacrifice in this sense because he's willing to lay down his life for Luffy's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if we can't do anything to save
true.
ourselves. And he just, like, the fact that he even mentions things about Luffy's character that are going to, like, just like he's this guy, he's you know, he's not the brightest bulb in the hardware store. It's just so nice that he understands Luffy so well.
Mm-hmm.
And just really speaks to his place here and why he is the one saying all this. It's so nice. It's such a great moment for him.
He's like, he may be a goofball, but that goofball's our captain. He's our goofball.
He's our goofball.
He also kind of calls out Luffy's weakness as well, saying like, in a place of like tricks and deceit, like Luffy is incredibly gullible and falls for traps and tricks. So this could be his weakness, and that was like very observant.
And he's kind of spot on.
Yeah, totally spot on. But I love his conviction to be like, we'll put this in Luffy's hands and trust Luffy to pull us through this.
And it also kind of harkens back to Luffy's speech to Arlong. How Luffy like admits like, I can't do certain things, but that's why I have my crew to do these things that I can't do. So
Sorry, no. Finish your thought.
That's the point I was making.
I was gonna say that is one of my favorite quotes from the series, but I hadn't thought about, because I was thinking about the thing I mentioned before in Ace Lobby, where Sanji says to Usopp, "I do what you can't do, you do what I can't do." And I'm wondering, okay, is there a connection between those two quotes?
Possibly.
Is that Luffy rubbing off on Sanji and saying that?
Is the captain influencing the crew?
It's just, it's so nice.
I
love them.
Idea,
I love them so much. Oh,
I feel like it's a common thread of a good crew,
Yeah.
Yep.
So it shows that they do like, embody like similar philosophies, because they could be like, oh, like I don't trust my captain, I'm going to backstab him. Like, like other crews might not have the same camaraderie, or they might not be like in line with the captain, but this is why they work so well together, is because they do inherently have these kind of values like overall that they share, because they're the same kind of pirates. And not like one pirate is like one that's just like pure like evil. Like Zoro has like these moments of like, yeah, like he enjoys like fighting, but like he's not like an evil person. Like he has moments of like goodness, even go back to like his first appearance, how like he was like kind to like Rika and like eating like the rice ball. So just like things like that. So I just like, it's like Luffy's been able to find like-minded people that really mesh well with his crew.
I think this is gonna have some implication as we get further and further into the volume and further into this fight as well. Yeah. It's one of the things I really, really, really love about it.
Okay, so circling back to Evan, you were talking about the interaction with Moria and Kuma.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Not only just seeing them standing side by side, which is pretty substantial in itself. We get the information that Blackbeard is now one of the 7 warlords taking Crocodile's empty seat.
That's pretty big.
Which is pretty exciting. Well, not exciting, but it's pretty big. Yeah, big news. Which means Blackbeard's clearly like making a name for himself, and has quickly garnered a reputation, and has harnessed that power, which we only got like a little taste of. So that is definitely intimidating.
Yeah, because the last time we saw Kuma was actually the meeting. Like I was saying, the meeting at Marijoa, where they're talking about what to do with now the missing seat for the 7 warlords. That's when Lafitte had showed up and suggested this no name Blackbeard. And Moria hasn't heard this guy before. And when he asks like what his previous bounty was, Kuma says 0. And like the reactions of the world government was like, well, why would we make this no name a warlord? So something must have happened where they were like, hey, you know what? Maybe this Teach guy is worthy of being a warlord.
Which is interesting because the last time we saw Teach was his confrontation with Ace, and that was the very first thing that Kuma said upon his arrival was like, hey, does Luffy have a brother? You know?
Interesting.
So maybe the outcome of that battle had something to do with it.
Possibly. That's
a good point. What do you make of this, Evan? Do you have any thoughts?
As far as how Blackbeard got the seat?
And anything. I'm just in the Evan theory gang.
Well, since you say that, this is the chapter where Kuma says, if you were to go on a vacation, where would you want to go? And
yes.
Moria is like, haha, you take me for a fool, but I know what your powers are. So that's why I'm theorizing like maybe he's able to teleport or transport people to a destination, or possibly grant somebody's wish. Like maybe he can like grant a wish or something like that. So those are my current 2 theories.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a pretty serious conversation that they have, because then they go on to talk about how the world government seems to be a little scared of these Straw Hat Pirates and thinks that one warlord might not be enough to handle them. Like that's like a damn moment. Like the government shaking in their boots a little bit.
Yeah,
Straw Hats getting a rep. Pretty exciting for our Straw Hats making a name for themselves. Man, so much happens in this chapter, and then right after that scene, we get Moria inside the belly of the beast, inside of Oars, as like a puppeteer in the command center, which I love this. I think this is such a cool, like the character design of Oars having this like cockpit. I think is awesome. I think this just like fits the theme really well and is a super fun creative choice.
Yeah, there's something that would have to be premeditated and was specifically built into Oars for this very reason.
Yes, I love it. It's even got like little draw curtains, like so good.
Yeah, which I didn't like fully pick up on like where this cockpit came from, but yeah, like I'm seeing here like the curtains are kind of like pushed to the side, because before it was just like you can see like there's like a band just going around his stomach, but it looks like it separates like in the middle to like open up to this little window. So Oris just had this little window in his stomach the whole time, but like he just opened the curtains on it.
I think Oda must have been watching so much mecha anime between this and the docking. Yeah. This was on his mind. This is no accident, Oda.
Yep. It's like you said, Oda had like an arc to just like have some fun, and like we're finding out some secrets about Oda.
I feel like this arc does not get the recognition it deserves in the One Piece community as a whole. I know there are different things different people are going to want of different arcs, but you can't tell me Thriller Bark isn't just fun. It has its low points. Don't get me wrong. It has its low points, but like
Yeah.
it's just like the amount of fun and experimentation and just character dynamics that Oda puts into this arc are astounding.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it does have some low points, but it also has some like really high points. Like
It
literally
really
some of the
does.
best moments in the entire series.
Yes, I agree. And actually, if I may say one more thing about character developments, this is my crack theory. This is something I never really picked up on before, but this conversation between Moria and Kuma, it struck me that one of the first things that Moria says is, "Oh, the only member of the Warlords who obeys the government like a dog." But then, on like I think a page or two later, two pages later, when Kuma says, "Oh, they're worried about Shaw and Luffy taking another Warlord," he's like, "Well, wait, they're not worried. They're worried I can't do it. I'm doing their job of keeping weakling pirates in check." Is Moria insecure about
like some
not
reverse
being
psychology.
recognized? Like, does he feel like he is not recognized for his efforts? It's everything he's doing here is purely for its own means. There's also an aspect of rationalization there, but I feel like there's a connection between this and his laziness shtick.
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm not going to succeed. No one gives a shit if I do a good job, so you do it for me. Fuck you, do it for me. I don't know. Just that's where my brain went today as I was reading this.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that because, like, yeah, that's a good point because Moria's personality is more just like sit back and like let other people do the work for him. But he is like in a position of power, and he does have this role to fulfill. I guess it does kind of show also to like when he has to step up, he is stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a lot of times he doesn't really need to even get to this point because a lot of things aren't really a threat to him. But now he's at a point where he is kind of feeling threatened. So the fact that he is getting directly involved is kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And when he's against a character who's as proactive as Luffy, it makes me so curious about the internal reasons for that inactivity.
Yeah.
And so it's Mori's just gotten a lot more interesting for me this time around.
Because
maybe
he
I
does
just want
have
to play the deck.
ambitions.
I don't know.
He does have ambitions. He does want to be the Pirate King.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really go out of his way to seem to make that happen. He's kind of like biding his time. But like, is he really being proactive about it? Is he that serious about it? Or is he just kind of like riding on like the power that he's been given? And he's just kind of coasting.
Yeah,
maybe he's playing the long game.
Could be.
What?
Said maybe he's just playing the long game, like slowly building up an army and waiting for his time to strike.
Mm-hmm. Which I will say is which has a shade of similarity to Crocodile, who is the other warlord that Luffy has fought. But I guess just like the way that he goes about it, the way he presents himself, and just like the spirit in which he does it, he's not a chess master, at least in the same way Crocodile is. He doesn't have this like 15-layer plan that he's orchestrated to the finest grain of sand, no pun intended. And it just seems so novel. It's so unique to him, and I just find that so interesting.
But he kind of lives in his own little world, really.
Yeah.
Like he really has his own little kingdom here that he kind of rules. And it feels very separate from the rest of the Grand Line,
Yeah, because it seems like he's just kind of made like the Foreign Triangle his kind of like his territory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he just stays here and that has like these zombie servants do his bidding.
Oh man, I love this.
All right, so do you guys have any other thoughts before we move on?
That's all I got.
I love Brooks' entrance at the end here. So good. I'm really liking Brooks' character.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Brook, best boy.
And also in the trading card game, like his new card for Throw a Bark, he's showing up with a bag of salt.
Oh really? Is it this shot here?
No, it's like original art, but it's
oh cool.
It's meant to be like this kind of situation. All right, so let's move on. Chapter 475, Pirates of the Forest. Brook got his strength back from drinking milk. The Strats work together to continue their assaults on Oars. Nami joins the fray with a Thunderbolt tempo. Oars notices Nami, and to everyone's surprise, Oars is able to stretch to reach her with a Gum Gum pistol. Thankfully, Robin catches her in time. Luffy meets Lola's pirates in the forest, who tell him they want to give him a power to help him fight Moria.
Okay, super quick, before we jump into the chapter proper, the cover story is this fun little shot of Luffy and friends doing some sort of like looks like a radio station or something, maybe a podcast.
No, I was kidding. It was before podcast.
But so I made the microphone art for this podcast, and this is the first time we're seeing like a microphone in the world of One Piece, and I love it. And I kind of want to redo the art so that it looks more like this. Like, how cool is that? It's like a little snail microphone.
I made One Piece.
I never knew you made this. It's wonderful.
Oh, thanks.
My compliments. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it might need some adjusting now, because look at that.
No, honestly, I think you nailed it first time.
Thanks.
Yeah, because like it's so smart, like to have the Gum Gum fruit be like the head of the microphone, but then you also have the stem too as like the wire, which is I think is really clever. So no notes. Yeah.
Second season, we'll change it up for the second season.
Oh, we're on like season like 5.
Oh, are we?
Okay, yeah. So how about the chapter itself?
He needs some milk.
He's a growing boy.
I missed that.
So
meme.
Good. Well, this is the combo moves we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So far up to this point, we really get to see it shine in this chapter. Yeah, this was incredible. I loved everything about this chapter. Every page, everyone teaming up to fight Oars. I also think it's kind of fun how like Luffy is the champion of this crew, and he's kind of like, you know, he's usually the one that fight the boss, you know. But here we have like everyone but Luffy fighting the boss.
Yeah.
And the boss is Luffy, essentially. It's like it's kind of cool how that all kind of works. And it gets better next chapter. But yeah, I think this is a super fun chapter, seeing everyone fighting together in sync. Everyone's on the same page, working, you know, smoothly together. And we see some really fun combo attacks, which made my day.
For sure.
I love
some like nice like combinations from people that we don't really see together. So I mean, like even like at the beginning we had like Usopp shoot like an oil star, and he tells Frankie to do it, and Frankie just picks up like he shoots like flames, and he ignites the oil star to create the supersized Firebird star, which was flying and sets the Oars on fire. So like there's like a lot of these like combo attacks like where they're like really in sync, like you said. So they're all really working together to take on this one massive enemy who, like you said, is essentially their captain, who's also now able to stretch like their captain. So he's even more like Luffy in his fighting style.
Yeah. My theory I thought that like Moria sorry, I'll get to it later when it's revealed. Never mind.
I mean, you.
But yeah, then we get a combo.
You do you.
Then we get a Zoro Sanji combo. The Great Buddha Chop. So amazing. Which I think Oda did a really cool job illustrating. I think showing how the building is like a Jenga tower collapsing, and Sanji is kicking the pieces at Oars as they're falling. I thought that was just a really fun, creative move. Yeah, there's so many great moves.
And then Oars punching the blocks back. It feels kind of like Luffy deflecting a cannonball with a gum balloon.
Yeah.
So we had some good teamwork from the crew. Nami also joins the fight, which is cool.
Mhm.
Who's been kind of sidelined the entire arc
Yeah.
after she was captured by Absalom, and she's been unconscious, so she really had not really anything to do. So it's nice that she's now able to be an active participant in the arc.
Packs a punch too.
Yeah.
Uses the lightning tempo, thunderbolt tempo to great effect.
Yeah, and they think that she's safe. She's like, oh, she's too far away for oars, but then he stretches his arm. It's like, what? How's that happening? You couldn't do that before.
Yeah, that's not good news. That's not good news. That's really bad news.
And then Luffy found himself in the forest, and he came across a gang of pirates. So they serve under the captain Lola the Proposer. So we know that name Lola from the other Lola that we met.
Interesting. I wonder if there's a connection between the two of them. But it says that they're going to give Luffy tremendous power, so that sounds good.
Be pretty sweet. Oh, and then also these two pirates talking to Luffy introduce themselves as the Risky Brothers. So they're the two squirrels that we had seen before.
Who somehow got defeated, I think, last chapter, miraculously.
By Nami.
Yeah, by Nami.
We did kind of brush over that, but yeah, she had shocked them. All right. Well, anything else for this one? Okay, moving right along. Chapter 476, Nightmare Luffy. Lola the Proposer, the captain of this group of pirates, introduces herself and proposes to Luffy. Luffy says no. The pirates tell Luffy that if he defeats Moria, all the shadows will be returned, but Moria is currently controlling oars from within the giant's body. They've been collecting shadows, which they start pushing into Luffy to power him up with the abilities of the shadows. They manage to stuff 100 shadows into Luffy, while most people can only withstand 2 or 3. Oars fights the Straw Hats as Moria explains that he's able to manipulate Oars' body's shape by morphing the shadows, allowing him to stretch. The Strats continue their assault on the giant while Robin grapples Moria using her Devil Fruit, preventing him from being able to control the shadows.
It's so cool seeing these different ways that Robin is able to use her powers. Because, so far it's been like Sace Flu or Clutch. And a couple times like with Yama and Skypiea when it's like we're going to roll you down the hill. How you like that? Woohoo! It's just I think there's so much more creativity in it right now, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. But this one
pretty...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's like a return to a classic, but she has to build multiple arms in order to be big enough to clutch Moria. So it's not just like her regular arms; she has multiple versions of her arms collectively making like bigger arms. That was a cool detail.
Yeah, I didn't even pick that up. I don't think she's able to make kind of like she did with the wings. She's able to make really big arms made up of multiple regular sized arms.
Yeah, so it's like how she does the legs, right?
I do like the way that Oda draws it, where for a lot of it, it's just smooth as if it's fully the object. But there's one point where you assume where it's like very detailed, it's like, oh, it's all his arms, and there's something kind of beautifully grotesque about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so fitting for Robin, given her sense of humor and all these very dark things she says. It's perfect for her.
Yeah,
it's a nice representation of her.
Yeah, I love it. Yay, Oda.
So we're introduced to Lola the Proposer, who lives up to her name and proposes to Luffy as soon as she meets him, and Luffy just flat out says no. No consideration, no thank you. It's just no.
It's good communication.
Her 4,444th note, to be precise.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if they should count the shadows rejections in there as well, because I'm sure that number would be much higher.
Like the zombie Lola.
Yeah, zombie Lola probably has her fair share of rejections.
But who's she proposing to? Is it just Absalom, or has she had other proposals before Absalom?
That's true. And does every proposal to Absalom that gets rejected count as one?
Ooh, good point.
Or is it the amount of people that have rejected? A lot of questions. A lot of questions. SBS.
I like to think that they each have their own count.
Yeah.
But they're both at 4,444.
So Luffy's 1, Absalom 1.
Yeah, so we find out what their plan is, and that is to use Moria's abilities against him by taking all these shadows that they managed to capture over this period of time, and they start stuffing the shadows into Luffy. And
Excited
Luffy,
about
they ask Luffy if he knows how to use a sword, and he says no. And then they like give him the sword, and he's like a master swordsman. All of a sudden, he cuts his tree like into slices.
Pretty great. Which is kind of fun because like we've seen the shadows being used for this same.
Yeah.
How like the shadow carries the traits and skills of their original owner, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of shadows, Moria is able to control Or's shadow, which is how he's able to act like a Logia type. Like I feel like that's such an overpowered. That's such an overpowered ability.
Well, he acts like Luffy's ability, which would be a.
He does act like a Logia type in the next chapter, though.
Yeah. So he's only able to.
Spoilers! Shit, sorry.
He's only able to mimic Luffy's ability.
Well, he's using the shadow to change the shape to mimic Luffy's ability to stretch.
Got it. Because we've already seen the shadow act as like a Logia type.
It is a Logia type. So yeah, Moria's ability is a Logia type, but he's mimicking Luffy's ability to stretch. So
gotcha. So he is restricted to just the movements that Luffy can make.
No, it's restricted to the movements that the shadow can make.
Right, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I think it's crazy overpowered that he can like take over somebody's shadow and make them do his bidding in whatever manner he sees fit. Like it's like a full-on controlling takeover power. That seems like very strong.
Yeah, it's such like a fun concept because his logic is the body has to conform to the shadow's shape. So by changing the shadow shape, the body then copies that. So that's why he's able to make these like stretches and like do these weird things with the bodies because he's able to make the shape of the shadow. So he's manipulating the shadows to create this this form for Oars to mimic Luffy's abilities.
That's so cool. It's like the opposite of reality, how that works. But I love it. I love Moria's abilities, and I think this is another cool addition to his abilities. It just seems really overpowered. I'm like, damn. So at first, I was theorizing that like, since Moria wanted Luffy to be the one to be the specifically his shadow to work inside of Oars's body, he had like built some sort of contraption that would allow Oars to like stretch like mechanically. So this was like a total shock to me because I was like, how are they doing it? Yeah. And then it's revealed that Moria's taking over the shadow. I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. But again, it seems so overpowered. Like I feel like clearly like I can see where his power comes from and how he is a warlord.
Just a little quick Cody overthinking One Piece. I feel like there might be something. There's a nice contrast of Moria taking Oars' autonomy in parts of these compared to the Straw Hats making the conscious decision to fight Oars themselves in service of their captain. There's probably more depth to that. I don't know what it is. I was just like, oh, this is a cool parallel. That's what I got.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's like that parallel of like everyone's fighting Luffy, you know, for Luffy.
Yeah.
And I think that parallel you're drawing gets even more interesting in the next chapter, or maybe 2 chapters.
But very soon, regardless.
Very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, but the crew is still fighting against Oars, and I think this moment too where they team up with Brook in order to launch him into Oars. So Usopp uses like the slingshot where Robin like uses the arms to also help and like hold him, and then Nami uses the dark cloud tempo to shock Brook in midair, and he becomes like a lightning bolt going through through Oris's shoulder.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
So cool. So
Human
cool.
projectile.
Nothing more mortifying than being able to repay my debts. I love him so much. I love Brooks so much.
Me too. Man, Robin's got Moria in a chokehold.
Yeah,
That's the move. That's the move.
That's it.
It's the move.
Got him.
Okay, so with that, were you guys ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, and before we move on to the next chapter, we do have the SBS question confirming. I had mentioned this before, but Buggy was looking for Captain John's treasure, and that's the zombie that we had seen as one of the zombie captains was Captain John. So it was his treasure that Buggy was looking for. Okay, moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 477, 3/8. Moria is not helpless as he sends brickbats at Robin. Moria's shadow appears behind her. She uses clutch on Moria's main body and snaps his neck back. But unfortunately, Moria switched places with his shadow before Robin was able to perform the attack. Moria hits Robin's shadow, causing her to fall unconscious. Sanji gets angry and fights Orzhov. Chopper made his way to Orz's shoulder and determines that this is a weak spot as Hogback had to repair it due to frostbite. Orz fights them off, knocking them out. Orz managed to defeat the others as well, leaving only Zoro, Nami, and Usopp.
Sheesh. Just when you thought Moria couldn't get any more powerful.
Hacks.
Yeah,
He
it looks like
does.
things are going in their favor as well, and now the tide has turned.
Yeah, this is wild. I was just saying, like, the shadow control is super overpowered. Well, the ability to also switch places with your shadow is super overpowered. Like, maybe Luffy did chase Moria into the woods.
Yeah, maybe he switched last minute.
And then he switched. Yeah, this just doesn't seem fair. It just seems too strong.
Last chapter, I was like, how did Moria get into Orz so quickly? And this explains it, actually.
Ooh, that's a good point, because I was wondering that too.
Yep. Just
I didn't
the old
connect that.
swap.
Evan, is this where you were talking about Moria's Logia stuff? Because I actually had a note about that as well. The fact that you can use Brickbat to just like be impervious to damage, like Croc or Ace or any of these other people would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely part of it. I feel like we've seen multiple cases, and like the shadow can just kind of like morph itself at any time and take on multiple different shapes. But yeah, such an overpowered.
It really is. And I checked the wiki, and like technically it is a paramecia. So the fact that you can use it like a Logi just speaks to how much time Moria has put in with this fruit.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's
and not only that, but he can make other people into Logia. He can make other people do Logia type, like he did with Orz, right? Because he took over Orz's shadow and was able to make him stretch and change his shape into a sphere, into stretching his arms, stretching his legs, stretching his neck. Right? You said that ability is beholden. But is that ability beholden to the shadow movement, or is it beholden to Luffy's abilities?
That ability is definitely beholden to the shadow, but it seems like it seems very observant to be able to understand Luffy's abilities to the way he can fine tune it to the instincts within the shadow.
Yeah.
So to me, it feels like, which is, again, to your credit, very impressive of him.
Right. He's just like giving Luffy the ability to do his attacks that he's used to doing.
Mm-hmm. Which I imagine would love very fine.
But say he took over Nami's shadow, would he be able to make Nami's arms stretch? And would he be able to contort Nami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he can his ability to like turn other people into Logia types.
It's kind of like Khalifa's Devil Fruit, how she was able to make them like bubble people.
Right.
So like he can manipulate their body. But yeah, I just double checked. Yeah, Cody, you're right. So it is a Paramithia fruit, which now I'm thinking about it makes more sense because he's not turning into a shadow, he's manipulating shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not actually a characteristic of Logia types. He's not becoming shadows. He's controlling his own shadow and other people's shadows.
Right. But the shadow has Logia type traits.
Well, the specific Logia
bats.
trait is like turning like into like this like element type thing.
And so by
That
using the
shapeless thing.
Doppelman, which is made of shadows and therefore cannot be attacked, or using the brick bats and projecting them, it is a very paramythia representation of the properties of the types of defenses and offenses that a Logia would use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like
Pretty
when
big.
he's getting attacked, he's not turning into a shadow and the attacks are going through him. He's using the shadows and manipulating them and blocking with the shadow. So if he was a Logia type, they would be punching through him and he would turn into a shadow and it wouldn't affect him if they try to punch him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But he's overcome that shortcoming of being a paramythia, which is sick.
So yeah, really, really creative use of his powers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on brand with the bats. I feel like it fits his theme really well.
Yeah, I love the brick.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Did you know the pun with Moria's name?
I do not.
So far all of the warlords have had animal like themes in their names, right?
Mhm.
Crocodile, Mihawk, and you'd think that Gecko Moria's is Gecko because that's literally his surname. But if you go Gecko Moria, you take the middle part Komori, that is the Japanese word for bat.
Oh, that's so cool.
That is cool.
Is this sick?
I
Oda,
didn't-
come
I
on!
never
awesome.
knew that.
Yeah.
I also feel really dumb because I didn't pick up on the animal things with the 7 warlords because we also had Kuma, who's a bear, and Doflamingo, which would be like a flamingo.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's just also like so much to them that's more than that it definitely like goes by the wayside when you see the things they do. So it's you know, it makes sense. That wouldn't be the first thing you think of.
But now it's like, well, maybe that's why they want Teach to be one of the warlords because he doesn't fit the theme. It's like, yo, dude, you're not getting the theme. Like,
Ooh.
what's your animal theme? Like, come on.
We already have a bear. You're hairy. Like I don't know what you. We already have your type at our agency, sir. I'm not bitter. You're bitter.
Just going back to like how crazy this power is. So, Moria is able to switch places with his shadow at the moment his neck gets snapped. But it's like really cool because you can see only his head, like from like the neck up, has transferred over. So he's kind of like gradually transitioning. So it's not like all at once.
Right.
It's like it's really cool to see like his main body still in the cockpit, and then like when he's behind Robin, the shadow is there, but his head is taking the place of the shadow.
Sneaky,
And then he
sneaky.
takes Robin's shadow, which when we thought like we're done, like having the crew's shadows getting taken, like Robin just loses hers.
Yep. Yeah, it's not looking good. Because Robin seemed to have one of the best abilities to fight him.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's unconscious.
Oh, and then kind of going back to a point from before. So when Sanji goes to attack Moria after Robin's shadow gets taken, so he goes to attack Moria, but the part that he hits is the shadow part. So again,
that's exactly what got me on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the point was like it's almost like a Logia type ability here, but he's not because he's actually not hitting the main body. So the body doesn't have to act like a Logia.
Mm-hmm.
He is kind of towing the line though, like in the way he uses the paramythia.
Yeah.
As a Logia type almost. Very powerful. Where does he keep those giant scissors?
In the shadows.
Man. That's why his pants are so big. They're full of secrets.
Yeah. must be.
He's a mean girl.
Maybe he's like Cloak from Marvel, who has like a portal like under his cloak. So you can just kind of keep it like in a like old pocket dimension type thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it past this guy. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
Oh, they're in his sleeves.
Not his pants. Got it.
Got it. Thanks, Evan.
Sounded better than he's got a lot of tricks in his pants.
That's fair. Also, the humor of 12-year-olds, so you know. Anyway, these Diable Jam shots, holy shit! The highlighting on those, beautiful.
Yeah,
pretty sick.
It's nice seeing that specialty move again because his leg's on fire with his burning passion for Robin. He must avenge.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to withstand Gum Gum Bazooka from Oars, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive. With assorted fruit. Or that's what I'm guessing what that means. Frit assorti. Might have to Google that one.
Yeah, Google Translate will be a friend on that one.
Yeah.
I like assorted fruit though. Oh, fried assortment.
Fried assortment.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
He's frying them up.
High temp.
But I think it's really cute when Oris goes to grab Chopper, and then Chopper turns small. And then he's like, I'm small, so the space in your fist is like a huge cave to me, as he munches on the rumble ball. He looks so cute there.
Adorable. And this is right after some really great insight from Chopper, which is kind of our first time seeing his medical abilities come in handy in a battle, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like his medical knowledge proving to be good military tactics here.
Which makes me think back because he hasn't been using his scope ability. Like I think this would have been a good time to bring back scope, so he could identify the weak spot. Like he kind of does without doing the scope thing, but he uses his medical knowledge to inspect or is big. Hey, there's like signs of frostbite here. There are signs that, like he was probably frozen before, and that was his weakness.
Right.
But yeah, it's just he kind of forgot he can do scope.
Missed opportunity for sure.
When was the last time he used that?
I think against Kadatsu.
Way back.
Ah. Okay, yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah. We don't see it enough. We don't see Rumble Ball enough.
We do not.
Well, we see him use Rumble Ball. But like, specifically the scope part was when he's in Brain Point. And he takes like the hoofs and he like identifies like the weak spot.
That's right. Yeah. That was a missed opportunity for sure.
Actually, there's one thing I remember just thinking about the first time I read this chapter. And it's that when they all decide to start hitting Orz's arm, and Chopper says, well, it's gonna work. Pain is a signal your body sends to warn you something's wrong, and not feeling is not an advantage.
Yeah.
I had not taken middle school biology yet. And I was like, huh. Thanks, Oda. I learned something today.
Not recommended.
Yeah.
Not recommended. Something is wrong. Cool. Legit, like that. This chapter taught me why pain is a thing. I was like, oh, cool, nice.
Thanks, Dr. Chopper.
Yeah. That was a cool theme, though, that like not being able to feel pain is a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a cool point that's made. I think Robin expounds upon that in the next chapter as well. Someone else mentioned it.
And previously, Moria was saying, "Don't be like so pathetic. Like, you know, it's just fire. You can't feel the pain, so just ignore that." Yeah. Anything else for this one?
Things are looking rough.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens in the next chapter. See if things change. In chapter 478, Luffy versus Luffy. Zoro offers to create an opening for Usopp to launch the salt into Orz's mouth. Zoro is defeated, but Usopp manages to get the bag of salt into the zombie's mouth. Moria's shadow had caught the salt from within Orz's mouth and dumped it onto Usopp. Orz stomps at Nami and Usopp, but doesn't realize Luffy has arrived and saved his friends in time. They don't recognize Luffy at first, as he's now large and doesn't sound like himself. Orz attacks Luffy, but he stops the punch. Luffy punches back, sending Orz flying. Okay, so let's start with Evan, because this is your first time seeing Nightmare Luffy.
Yes, and I am obsessed. I love that he's blue in color, which I would not have noticed if I had not seen the cover.
Yeah,
which is a minor spoiler. He looks kind of like the Hulk. Kind of looks like the Hulk on the cover.
That's what I was thinking too.
But yeah, like the scale is insane. He's absolutely massive, and incredibly powerful. It's interesting because we have Orz, which is a zombie with Luffy's abilities, and Luffy's shadow. And then we have Luffy, who has the shadow abilities, and it's a Luffy versus Luffy. It's just such an interesting matchup. But yeah, these action scenes like that, him stopping the punch, or his punch, specifically that panel on this whole page is incredible.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. And then like this whole fight looks amazing. But yeah, I love the character design. I think Luffy looks super badass and intimidating here. Like the deep set eyes, the samurai, the massive samurai sword, like very cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Lived up to the hype for sure. Yeah, I was so mad when the salt bomb did not work. I was like, really in this fight, like everyone's down. It's like their last shot, and Usopp nails it. I'm like, yes. I was like so relieved. And then like they even tease like the shadow starting to come out of oars.
Yeah.
And then you see that it's the shadow with holding the salt, and I was just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. It seems like these past 3 chapters, more just getting more and more powerful, and just like one step ahead of them at every single turn, and nothing is going their way, and they're just getting devastated. And it's like, we're seeing all the combo moves, we're seeing the entire Straw Hat team working together, and things are clicking, but they're just not putting it like any dent into the opponent, and it's just like so disheartening to watch. And then finally, our hero Luffy shows up, and he's hulked. He's hulked up, ready to go. Like that shot of him holding Nami and Usopp, and just to show the scale of him and the badassery that he is. Like, love it, absolutely love it. And then he's got the punch to match oars. I mean, insane.
It's awesome.
In my notes, I used the word hacks for the first time in about 16 years. Because this is hacks. This is stupid. The fact they can more, but yes, Luffy flipped him. Luffy did what no one else could. I was very, very vindicating.
Yeah, he makes quite the entrance here. Yeah, and I love Luffy's reactions, because he's like who do you think you're stepping on? And then like he grabs his friends. They don't even recognize him at first either, because like I'm assuming that with all the different shadows, like it's probably changing his voice, because I think they say like not Moria, Oars sounded like Luffy. I think his voice actually is supposed to sound like Luffy's voice, because it's his shadow. That's who's technically speaking. So I think Luffy probably sounds like all the shadows combined, which is probably going to be like a very different voice for Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Luffy stops the punch from Oars, he says, "There's only one Luffy, and it's me." And then he punches him right back and sends him flying.
Amazing.
But yeah, like you said, like it definitely evokes like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and like the original coloring for the Incredible Hulk, he was actually gray. I'm not sure if you knew that, instead of green.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like the color that they had and the printing at the time. It came out as gray. Just closer to this like kind of light blue. And the moment I was referring to earlier with the way that something is translated on the page is the way that Zoro does the Three Swords style demonic raven. So he creates kind of like almost like a V with like the blade in the middle. So like the 3 swords kind of sticking up in the air.
So
And
cool.
then he does like a roll type thing, like up the arm of Oars. And then when you look at the bottom of the page, it looks like bird feet.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing I was like trying to like wonder, like practically, like what is he doing to create the bird feet mark? Is it the moment when like is he like hitting the blades like the way it's in the top of the page? Is that like the moment the blades are hitting, or is it like the point of the blades as he's slashing? Like what exactly is causing the bird feet marking?
I think it's like slash down with the mouth, slash inward with both of the side blades to get propulsion and keep on spinning. And that actually was helpful with me because my note was like, Zoro, did you really have to go for the style points here? But now they're functional, so it makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense.
But like before, like he stabs in with the two swords, kind of like he did with his fight against Ryuma, where like how they would like go around the corners of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So right after he
yeah.
says 3 sword style, he makes that shape with the swords.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm picturing him just making that shape with the swords and spinning as he's going up the arms, leaving them imprinted as he goes up.
So he's like in that position, just like that, and it's like when the blades are in that position, that's when he's going in, and so he's like basically he has to like hold his like hands into or his arm to get the blades down that far to hit the because that's what I was like, is it like just like the edges of the swords causing the shaping, or is it he like going full press like and then flipping off like using his swords to like flip himself over? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking
The
about it too
latter
much.
makes more sense to me. No. We're thinking about it just enough. My question though is then, but if we're going with either of those, what's with the arrangement of these crow tracks?
Yes, that's the thing
So
too.
this would be 1, 1, 1, but then it's like 3, 3, 3, 3. Like, what?
Yeah.
Is he using Ashura? Are we just not seeing him use Ashura? What is Ashura?
Well, Ashura's in his head.
Ashura was in your heart, just like Sniper Island. But no, yeah,
it's an island.
It's very mysterious, Oda.
Yeah, that was the other thing too. Is like because it's not like going just forward; it's like going to the sides. Also, it's not 4 versions; it's 3 versions. So you would think it was like footsteps; it'd be like alternating.
Yeah.
So why is it 3 sets of footprints? Is it 3-legged bird? Is that what's happening?
I mean,
it is a 3-legged bird. The answer's right there.
Oh my god, it is a 3-legged bird.
It's a 3-legged bird.
We figured it out.
Shit. Wait a second. You were saying translation. What's the Japanese name of this attack? Hold on.
It's a demonic raven. That's why it has 3 legs. It's not a regular raven. If it was a regular raven attack, it'd be 2 feet. So he walks 3 feet and
Yasha Garasu.
Is it Karasu?
Bro, this is a yokai.
A 3-legged raven?
Yeah, Yatagarasu.
Wow.
Holy shit, the lore goes deep.
This is why I'm like, this is what I was talking about like interpreting the panels. Mm-hmm. So now that feels like a fun detail that like I didn't catch before because I was asking these questions trying to put together what's the page trying to tell me. That's something I feel like if you have like animation, it doesn't just like it might like, just give you the answer.
Right.
Or it still might be as clear. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But like because we're looking at the details on the pages, we're able to see what's right in front of us. You can go
back. You can easily go back to, yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
I'm so glad we got there.
Yeah. It felt like a dumb question at first, but now I'm starting to feel vindicated.
No, it worked out.
Well, Joel, to spring off what you're saying, though, is that when we say the anime gives us answers, the thing is that unless Oda says specifically, like in the case with Roger's first mate, which doesn't happen very often, they're also making an interpretation.
Yes,
of it.
That's true.
So there is something to be said about the fact that the manga is still the purest form of Oda's original intention. Correct. And the basis for which we can form our opinions off of.
Yeah, definitely. But a lot of times they will directly translate something like from like panel, like directly from the panels. But in this case here, like we might see him rolling like up the arm, but like it's probably not going to give us like more details as to what's causing like this shape. Mm-hmm. So the fact that like we're because I'm sure like in the anime, I don't remember offhand, but I'm sure they had like the image of like the raven come up. Maybe like it would have been like clear to see like the 3 legs at the time. But like practically, I was like, what is causing the 3 feet to like happen? Like what point of the blade is causing these markings? So yeah, I'm just very curious what the practical like actions are being taken to make this effect happen on the arm.
I see that. Actually, one more fun note because I'm on the wiki right now is that so the full Japanese is Yasha Garasu, literally meaning Yaksha Crow. Yaksha is the devil who embraced Buddhism, with its Japanese name literally meaning night splitter, which was very appropriate for Thriller Bark.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's just cool. It's just cool.
That's such a cool deep dive because like when I read this through, I honestly like kind of just suspended my disbelief and kind of just went along with it. I was like, that's a sweet looking move. And the fact that I left like the crow's feet, I'm like, that's sick. But then I feel like I moved on because I was in the heat of the battle, you know?
Yeah, you were hype.
Yeah. I was getting Attack on Titan vibes though with the spinning slash down the arm.
Yeah.
Of this giant Titan.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's all I got for this one, honestly.
Yeah. Nightmare Luffy, let's go.
Let's go.
Oars is down.
All right, so let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 479, Warrior of Hope. Lola's pirates arrive to see the Straw Hats have been knocked out and try to treat them. They fill Nami and Usopp in on what's going on, but Luffy's power boost is on the clock. Luffy is able to swing oars around with ease, slamming him on the ground. As Luffy slashes through oars, Moria complains that oars is pathetic. Luffy sends a Gum pistol through the cockpit and hits Moria right in the face. Luffy finishes off oars with a Gum storm, knocking out the giant as the shadows begin to leave Luffy's body.
So sick.
Man, just when I was like, Moria is too overpowered. How is anyone going to beat him? Luffy throws him around like a rag doll. Puts a real whooping on Oars and Moria.
So this predates the Avengers movie, but this is also kind of like the Hulk Puny God moment where he's like whipping Loki around.
Yeah.
So we're saying that Joss Whedon was inspired by Oda.
I think so. He's like, hey, this Luffy guy looks like the Hulk. Maybe we should have the Hulk do this.
Maybe. But I want to see if there's a Hulk comic that Oda was inspired, like a really, really obscure Hulk comic that Oda got inspired by.
Yeah, I haven't read enough Hulk to say for sure.
Me either.
I'll get back to you when I eventually read the Hulk comics in like 20 years.
Regardless, an awesome move.
Sorry, Cody, were you saying something?
I said we'll be on like our 10th reread, and it'll be this will be like, hey, remember that one time? Oh
no! We'll probably be talking about why is there 3 set of feet on this arm for oars? Like, what's going on with like these like bird feet? How does this happen? We have the same conversation next time we like go over series in 10 years.
I can't wait. That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, this is really fun seeing Nightmare Luffy fight. He has the ability of hundreds of different people, and he's still just using all of his own moves. He's like, "Thanks for the power, but I'm gonna stick my own moves. Thanks."
Well, he does use a sword.
He does do the sword slash.
Which is actually really cool.
Yes, it is. That must be a huge sword.
Yeah. Good thing they had one lying around.
Right. Doubt.
It's also very nice seeing Moria's face get squashed in.
Yep.
I'm fascinated by it, but I'm also like, nah, this feels good.
He had to get knocked down a few pegs because he was on his high horse for quite a bit.
Yeah, we need a meta shift.
Yep.
Moria got nerfed.
The Gum Storm panel is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Looks so good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the whole page looks amazing.
I also just love seeing the impact on Oars and the same impact on Moria at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
These side panels are so well done.
That is an awesome effect here.
The next page, you have all the zombies reacting, and just Hilden's just behind a pillar.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that we see more of these pirates because the only person we had seen before was like the old man with severe injuries to show that there are like other inhabitants like on the island. So it's nice to see that there are like more people like living in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But it is nice to see also where some of these shadows had come from, and that these people were just kind of chilling on the island because they had nowhere else to go. They kind of stuck here.
Right.
But Luffy has arrived, and giving them hope. It's like, oh, maybe there is somebody that can beat Moria. So like we're kind of like relying on this guy. So they gave him all the shadows. Like we're hoping that this guy has what it takes to beat Moria. Like it's kind of like our only hope. Like we're probably not gonna get a better chance. So they're kind of taking like a big gamble on Luffy by giving all the shadows that they had. There might be like a few, but they gave like probably like most of their shadows. But they're here. They're like counting on Luffy. And they're kind of cheering him on, and they're like, we're trying to help the Straw Hats. So it's nice to have them show up here.
Muad'Dib?
What?
It's a Dune reference.
Oh, I still need to see Dune.
You gotta see it, dude.
I know. I want
They're
to.
putting all their faith in Luffy.
Bro, my AMC A-list status is just rotting because I haven't used it yet.
Go see Dune 3 times, and you'll feel better about it.
You know what? I like the way you think.
I will absolutely see it multiple times in theaters.
Let's go.
I would absolutely go see it.
Go. Let's do it. Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
There you go. Yeah, so then it seems like Luffy has used up all the power. So he had this massive power up, and he was able to take out Oars, but now he's losing the shadows. And the way he shrinks down also feels very like Incredible Hulk like.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I'm going back to like Bruce Banner.
Yep.
Like it's cool, like seeing all the shadows kind of fly out, and like he shrinks down. You can see them all like floating away from like from Thriller Bark. There's probably gonna be a lot of happy people getting their shadows back from out of nowhere.
Yep.
They get to leave their houses. That sounds wonderful.
There's probably like one dude who is like soup to not have to go outside. He's like, so he can stay inside and play video games all day and stuff. I don't have to like go out. And then he gets his shadow back. He's like, oh, I can't use that excuse anymore.
Here I am back at the garden supply store. Okay, fine.
He's over here like door dashing everything, because he can't go outside. Yeah, so it seems like Luffy has won. He's defeated Oars.
Pretty sick nasty.
Hey, you guys got anything else?
I just realized in that last panel with Oars down for the count, the Doom has it's like Doom. The wall that like there's like a huge wall that cuts through the Doom.
Yeah, it does that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's like the crowd cheering like wah, or if it's like Oars going like wah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so let's move on to the next chapter. But I do actually really love this cover art with the chopper with the penguins on top of the bear. It's so cute.
Yeah, the totem.
Yeah.
The one weird little bear and the one little weird bird and the wolf.
Yeah. It's funny. Okay, chapter 480, Interception. With Oars defeated, they need to focus on getting Moria to give everyone's shadows back. They need him to give the command. To everyone's despair, Oars has stood back up. Zoro has now gotten up as well. Luffy says he just needs to land one more hit on the giant zombie. The other Strats have started to get up as well, impressing the other pirates that they aren't giving up. They team up, freezing Oars in place and chaining him up to pull a spine straight. Luffy uses Gear 3 from above, hitting Oars in the face with the Gum Gum Bazooka and cracking his spine.
So sick.
So they get like their third or fourth wind at this point.
It's just one giant D&D boss battle. Full party.
Yeah, they've been using their second winds for sure.
I absolutely love this shot of Oars rising, the shadowing on it, the scale of it.
Yeah,
it looks so good, and he's like kind of disheveled and beaten up, but like still standing.
Yeah,
so
which is pretty scary.
Creepy zombie. Yeah. Oh my god! And then as everyone starts to rise, who says "Give me a foothold"?
Oh, that's what I want to comment to. It's Luffy and Robin.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite line in the volume.
Why can't I find it?
Yeah, so the next page after Luffy says he's getting up, he needs to do one more blow, and then he
it's Oars page, then Zoro page. Yeah.
He shouts, "Robin, I need to jump up there," and she says, "Then I'll build you a foothold."
Oh, yes. Robin says, I'll build you a foothold, and literally sprouts feet for Luffy to hold on to. I was like...
I didn't pick up on that until you just mentioned that.
I thought that got me laughing.
That's so smart.
I didn't think about the comedy of that either. That's a good point.
Yeah. Like, give me a foothold. Like, literally feet to hold on to.
Yeah.
Out of the building.
Pure genius.
Is that weird humor?
But yeah, I think this is a great team moment. We've had so much amazing teamwork throughout this whole volume, but I think it built up nicely to this moment where like everyone's been knocked down. We see everyone kind of get up and go right back to it's almost like they defaulted to this epic team combo move.
Yeah.
But I think that Oda did a good job setting this up throughout the volume, kind of like showing the teams like they're really acting as a team, and there really is a lot of teamwork on this crew, and like things are starting to click, and people are starting to rely on each other and depend on each other and trust in each other, and I think it's really showing through. And then in this chapter, we really get to see the whole team coming together for like a full team takedown move, which was very satisfying, and also felt fitting to be kind of like where this volume ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels very well earned.
Yeah, it feels well earned. Totally.
I could not agree more. I feel like that I need to jump up there. Ability of foothold also just sums up like everything that they've been going through as a crew in this volume. Like Water 7 Ennies Lobby, that is, hey, we're going to put this crew's unity to the test. And put them through all of that. And Thriller Bark is just built upon that unity and showcases it so well.
That's a good
Absolutely.
point.
Like, we see early in this volume, we see everyone except Luffy and Nami fight Oars, put up a great fight, but one by one, Moria and Oars take them out. But now that Luffy is there, he is bringing out the best of them and taking that teamwork up to 11. The captain is bringing the crew together and giving them a central point to channel everything into and succeed together with.
Yeah, they get to
and
rally
confidence.
Yes,
yes. Like everyone has more confidence when Luffy's fighting with them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and they're also inspiring the other pirates too, like the Lola pirates. Who are like they're seeing like this like willpower and spirit that the Strats are exhibiting, and they're all getting up and they're still fighting after being beaten down. And seeing Oars get back up, a lot of people might be like, oh, "There's no way we can beat them. Like it's hopeless." The Strats rise to the occasion here. Like literally, they rise up and they're ready to take on Oars after all that. They're not like discouraged. They're like, no, we got this. We just need to finish them off now.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love when Brooke gets up. He says, "If there's anything I can do," and everyone's like, "Whoa!" Even the skeleton guy stood up. They probably thought he was just like a regular skeleton. They didn't realize he was like a person still.
Yeah, when everyone was like unconscious, wasn't someone like, "Wow, the Strats are in really rough shape. Oh my god, this guy's even turned into a skeleton."
It's like, poor guy, he got hit rough.
This guy really, yeah. Also, we get to see Gear 3 make another appearance.
Yep.
Which is pretty rad, and it has a very devastating effect. That's a pretty gnarly impact scene right there.
Yeah.
If you got him good.
Yeah. So they even show like they have like a Mortal Kombat like X-ray fight here, where it's like the spine like cracks.
Yeah.
So even though Oars can't feel it, he's definitely taking the effects though.
Dunzo. Time to start working on 901.
All right, you guys have anything else before we wrap up on the next chapter?
No.
I'm good.
Okay. Final chapter of the volume. Chapter 481, Shadows Asgard. Even though zombies can't feel pain, Oars isn't able to get back up with a broken spine. Luffy has shrunk down to recover after Gear 3. Pirates plan to wake up Moria to get him to give their shadows back, but Moria is already awake and is not planning to cooperate. Moria calls as many shadows as he can to him, collecting 1,000 shadows and transforming him into a massive monster. As the people begin to flee, the sun starts to come up. Lo refuses to run, noticing the Straw Hats aren't running, even though they are in the same position as them. Lo stands her ground as her cheek catches on fire. The Straw Hats get ready to take on Moria, as Luffy, now restored, activates Gear 2. Yeah, so they were able to take Oars out of the picture, but Moria is still a problem.
Get rid of
And
one
we see an
big
even bigger
bad
problem.
and oh, their opponents just keep growing in size.
Mm-hmm. Chopper has the line saying this power really is making a mockery of life. And I'd already really liked seeing Chopper get to use his main skill of medical knowledge in these previous chapters.
Mhm.
And so until this was like, it's a cool D&D thing. He passed the skill check, yay! But now it makes me think of like the Hogback fight. It's like, oh no, it's even more appropriate that this arc that is all about death is really using Chopper's medical knowledge so well in the main battle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It really like strikes a different chord with Chopper than it is with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even like the zombies under a bark are kind of getting worried because like, oh no, Oars is not getting back up. Is Oars done for? And like everybody's like kind of getting like this false sense of like, victory. Yeah, like the zombies are just in complete shock. And we even see like Sindri looks to be fine, but Sindri's just kind of looking on, doesn't really say anything. But yeah, Sindri seems fine. Hogback, we don't know yet. But Hogback's probably not in a good position right now. But yeah, so Moria gets back up, and he's not ready to give up either. He has more fight left in him. And we get this like really cool sequence where he starts to reach out and collect all the shadows from as many zombies as he can. And we see him when he activates the shadows of Asgard. Like it shows like the castle and like his eyes behind like, the mansion, and, like
so
over the island. It looks
cool.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole sequence is amazing. Like, as evil as it is, it's a very cool power up. How he's able to like summon all of these shadows that he had used to reanimate all these zombies, which turns him into like a giant dragon.
Yeah,
hoarding all the shadows.
Crazy, yeah. And we've seen that what the power of 100 shadows can do to boost somebody's ability. So Moria, who, like I said, is already super powered, just got times 1,000 power boost. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, so we see he takes Sindri's shadow, takes Lola's shadow, Zoro, Sanji, Hilden, the Risky
Luffy's.
Brothers, Luffy's. Yeah, pretty much all the zombies we kind of got attached to.
Yeah.
All the shadows were being taken here.
My guy Anupe.
Yeah, Anupe's gone.
The Risky Brothers.
Yeah. This chapter also just increases my fascination with Moria as a character.
Yeah.
Because we get into... Because he literally tells Luffy, you're just going to die if you keep going. You're not fit for the new world. And even if you have a couple good underlings, you're going to lose them. They are mortal. Zombies are dead. They have nothing to lose. And they're expendable. They can be replaced. This is painting a picture of Moria being this really, really tragic villain. I don't know if it's necessarily too much more so than others, because I feel like a lot of One Piece villains have a lot of humanity and tragedy to them. I feel like it's not normally emphasized this much. And after Moria was introduced with his motto of, "Now you do it for me," he is now taking everything in that he's gathered, and he is literally doing it himself.
Yeah.
To the nth degree. Taking whereas Luffy has his friends who choose to help him, choose to whatever degree they can do it for him, or at least ease him. Moria will subjugate, sacrifice, and then appropriate the people he has gathered under him. And I feel like there's 3 different quotes at the throughout this chapter that really speak to me for this, and I have not fully synthesized my thoughts on Moria, but these are what I'm carrying with me into volume 50. When they talk about running, Lola says to her crew, "Then go ahead and run. I'm the captain. If I stay, our duties can be fulfilled." The role of the captain is a proxy and a protector of the crew. This is what it means to put your hopes on the shoulders of others. The exact opposite of what Moria was doing and what Luffy has had to do in order to get to the point where he was able to even have time to become Nightmare Luffy within this volume. And the last thing Luffy says to Moria, "If it is a nightmare you want, dream it on your own." Oh, it's cooking!
Yeah.
The dialogue is cooking!
Great line.
It's so good. Thriller Bark is so... This aspect of Thriller Bark is so underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, you talk about Moria's lines. I actually wonder if this is what happened to Moria. So this is just speculation. But he says, with your strength, you'll just die if you continue your voyage. You're not fit for the new world. If you have like a couple of good underlings, you'll just lose them all. I wonder if that was Moria's experience. I wonder if he had like a crew that he might have been more attached to in the past, and he lost them in the new world when he failed before he was defeated. And then maybe he was like, "No, what? I'm just going to create an army of disposable like underlings that I don't have to get attached to," because he's maybe afraid to become attached. I don't know. That's just speculation.
No, I think you're really on something. I think you're really on something because it also adds to his actions in the present day. This whole operation of Thriller Bark is to take pirate crews weaker than his own, eradicate them, and add them to his own power.
Yeah.
If what you're talking about is true, he's reenacting his own trauma on other people.
Yeah.
Which is so human. God, Oda! And so in line with so many of Oda's villains so far. Like I won't get too much into it, but like there are so many villains of past and present that this is their MO. This is how they react to their trauma. It is also another one of my things I love so much about Oda's writing of his characters. And the fact that that even Moria fits into this in a much more subtle way than a lot of them do. It just it's so good. Sorry. I'm so excited.
No.
Yeah, this volume gets me so much more hyped than I thought it would.
Yeah, see, that's something I never thought of before until we started talking about it. And that's why I love having this discussion with you guys, because even like as we talk about things, I have thoughts that never occurred to me. So like I would have never thought of this, but with Moria, like he might have like a deeper backstory, or like more emotional like core to him than like I would have thought. Yeah, so maybe that trauma is what's causing him to act this way.
That's so great about One Piece, always something new. There's always something deeper to find. God damn.
Yeah, so I mean that could be complete like projection, but
it could.
But yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah,
it could.
Context clues are there.
Yep. But the fact that it's even a debate that could be had.
Yeah.
I think he did mention that he had like a weaker like army of shadows before, but that doesn't exclude that he could have had like actual crew members too. In addition, I don't remember exactly what he had said before, but yeah, he could have had like a full on crew at one point, because he has also recruited like Perona and Absalom and Hogback, but they clearly seem to be more self-serving, and it's just more of like you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of situation. Like Hogback had like he's like I'll work for you if you do this thing for me. Perona's like ready to like ditch Moria the first time of trouble.
Yeah.
Absalom just seems like he's just doing his own thing, being a creep. But like nobody really seems to be like super like devoted to Moria, except for the shadows that he has to control.
No, that totally works, and it also kind of explains his attitude and his like disattachment from everything, and his not wanting to get too connected to anyone.
Yeah, he would seek that out. Shit.
He just sees him as like, what can you do for me?
Right. They're all pawns.
Damn, I love Thriller Bark.
Thriller
I'm
Bark is
loving
pretty
Thriller Bark
fire.
as well. It's been very fun and well done, and it's had a lot of great moments.
Anyone who says skip Thriller Bark is just I don't respect their opinion.
I mean, honestly,
And that's hard for me to say. I don't
anything.
respect it. Yeah, why?
People
Why?
say skip
Don't.
Skypiea, but I mean, like,
No.
you're missing out on like important stuff for the entire story.
Yes. It's also just good. It's also just good on its own. Like, get out of here. Come on.
Yeah.
I do think
I'm
Thriller
excited.
Bark so far like works as like a standalone. Like you could just like watch Thriller Bark without any context, and I think you would still get enjoyment out of it because it's almost like a pretty self-contained story. But there's also
That's
things
just
that
yes.
are tying to like the bigger, world itself. But yeah,
But I think also like the fact that it works on its own speaks to the strength of the arc.
yeah.
So like, why would you skip the arc that works so well without needing anything else? Make it make sense.
The last thing I want to touch upon with this chapter is just the again the Lola Pirates' reactions to the Straw Hats, and Lola in particular is so inspired that she's willing to stand her ground with the Straw Hats who are fighting for not only their lives but the lives of the other people whose shadows were taken. They're still staying up and fighting more, even though the sun's coming up and they're starting to burn up. Like they're not backing down, and they're still fighting to like the bitter end, no matter what it takes. So Lola's not going to abandon the people who are fighting for them just to save their own lives. Like she's like, no, like I'm going to stay here if it means I die, and so be it. But I'm not going to abandon the people who are doing the work for us. So, like I'm going to stand with them in solidarity.
And that's a rare thing to see. It's like it's not a community of pirates that we've seen outside of the Straw Hats, really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So, do you guys have any other closing thoughts on the chapter or the volume as a whole?
I do. I am very, very hyped for what is to come. I mean, some of Luffy's last words are, all right, we don't have a lot of time. I'm going to get a little reckless. And as he says that, he is seemingly using gear, and not to draw conclusions, but who knows what we're going to see next volume. Could we see Gear 4, perhaps? That's what I'm feeling.
Ooh, so that's a bold prediction.
But I like these predictions. I'm liking Theory Evan.
Don't want to get too ahead of myself, but feeling good about this one.
So, not to throw a wrench in your prediction, but where did you see him say gear?
Not he didn't say it, but he's got the vroom.
Oh, okay.
In that last panel, it says he's got vroom and the smoke's coming out, and he's in his stance. He's like in his gear stance.
Okay.
He's got the broom.
Yeah, so I think that just indicates he's activating gear 2.
Oh.
But this doesn't mean he won't activate Gear 4.
True. It's just,
we'll
saying he's
going
to get reckless.
We don't know.
It sounds like something new to me.
Well, he could also go to Gear 0.
Gear 0.
We haven't seen that one yet.
Gear negative.
Gear negative 2. There we go.
Gear oil.
You gotta go Gear 1000 to match 1000 shadows.
1 gear for every shadow. Makes sense.
I like that. 1 gear pie.
I just want pie.
Yeah, I think Luffy just wants
so
pie.
It naturally comes after 3.
Nice meat pie. Sweet and hot.
Yeah, so Cody, do you have any closing thoughts for the volume?
It's so wonderful. It's even more wonderful than I remembered, and this is why I love rereading the series so much.
For sure. I mean, I think Thriller Bark has been a real treat so far. I personally been a fan of Thriller Bark, but I do think I've also been guilty of kind of undervaluing it, but like I'm getting more out of it than I expected to.
Yeah.
There's more depth to it than I had originally remembered. And I feel like I had watched it maybe like like last year, maybe the year before. So it wasn't that long ago that I actually watched through it. It's probably 2 years ago at this point, actually. But yeah, going through it again, like I feel like it's been really fun, and there's been more to it because like there was like the big key moments that have been really awesome, some like the best moments in the series, but there's also been like just overall, it's been like a really solid arc, except for the like the very few points that have been like negative, but I don't think it really detracts from the arc as much as I had originally expected it to.
Yeah. You're also bringing up a good point of the nature of the reread, because I'm realizing that this is the first arc that I solely read week to week, chapter by chapter. Whereas reading it in volume format does let me connect like things that happen across multiple chapters
Yes.
much better, which gets me so excited to keep on going and have this kind of re-experience for the first time with like even more arcs.
Yeah.
Because like if I keep having this experience, oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's such a different experience going week to week to like be able to read it like in closer like succession.
Yeah.
Even like in these small chunks. We're also not reading it like we're not binge reading it. Like we're doing it in like chunks, like volume by volume, which I think is also a different reading experience too. Because you can also read by arc or like read until like you're done reading. But like, yeah, I think by containing it to these volumes, it does give us a little bit time to breathe, and kind of make some connections that we might not have made before. It gives us more time to kind of be in this arc and like put more time into what we're actually going through right now. That's why I wanted to keep it by volumes, because like we're having more focused discussions on what's in this volume as opposed to like the arc as a whole, where like you're gonna maybe miss some of these details where we're not gonna get as deep of a dive.
Totally. I'm having a blast.
Yeah. Yay.
All right, so we've been going for quite a while, so I think we should probably wrap it up there. But I think that just kind of is a testament to like how enjoyable like this discussion's been, and like honestly, I didn't think we would talk about this volume that long. I thought this would be a quicker
Same.
one because like it's again mostly like fights, but like there's been a lot to really dissect and dig into, so it's been really enjoyable. All right, well that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We're Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on our YouTube channel at We're Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we record the podcast, so if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, you can reach us at wearereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, just let us know. Next episode, we'll be discussing Volume 50, Arriving Again. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Evan.
Thanks for listening.
And Cody.
Mori might be best villain.
Be sure to, on a note, be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.